gosh! Oh my gosh, hello! Oh my God. Hey, what a surprise!
Yeah, plot twist.
Oh my God. Hi, my name is Amy, and I am a member of Reese's Book Club. I love to read. I have 2 kids, and I try to read whenever I can. I've always loved reading. I will say when I was in school, you have to read the books that they assign, and it's not always books that I would gravitate toward naturally. But then when I got out of college, so like my early 20s, I feel like I had a rediscovering of how much I love to read. My favorite Reese's Book Club pick is We Were Never Here by Andi Bartz. So Reese's Book Club is something that is always on my radar. The different book picks, I'm always aware of what they are. This one, I remember reading the description and hearing her talk about it. And it just sounded sort of right up my alley, and the cover's beautiful. So yeah, I picked it up, and from the first couple of pages, it really sucks you in. And I think I read it in like a couple of days. It was so good. It's just like one of those books that every time the chapter ended, there was something in it that made me want to keep reading. And so yeah, it was just such a great thriller. Really trying to understand the psychology behind the characters. Like I thought they were so well written. I felt really, really resolved about it. But I felt like, that was not how I thought it was going to end. Which is again, is kind of what I want in a book. I don't want to know what the ending's going to be. I don't want to be able to predict it.
If you could ask Andi any question, what would you ask her? So imagine I am Andi. What would you ask me?
Yes, I would love to ask Andi about more of her writing process and how she comes up with these characters. How do you create characters that are so believable and so multifaceted?
Well, actually, why don't you?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Are you Amy?
Yes.
I'm Andi.
It's so nice to meet you.
Are you a hugger?
Yes, of course. Oh my God! What a surprise!
Yeah, plot twist.
About what I would ask you in this imaginary theoretical world if I could have a chance to talk to you. And all of a sudden, you were there.
Yeah, I got to hear about myself in the third person from the corner while sort of hiding, which was also really strange and thrilling. And then I got to jump out at you, which I don't get to do a lot of jump scares.
I would just love to hear about your process and how you kind of how you get a seed of an idea for a character, or if it's plot first and then you kind of come up with the characters, if it's character first and then how do you come up with the plot, just kind of that general process.
Yeah, thank you so much for the kind words. I am so fascinated by the human psyche, so it's really cool that that was coming through when you're reading about the relationships. When I am kind of in that revision process, I generally have written it all from one perspective. In this case, it's Emily.
Right.
I went back to every scene that Kristen was in, and I just asked myself, what is Kristen thinking in this moment? How is she seeing this? For me, in my books, I'm always exploring my own deepest fears, which are, again, stuff we probably don't talk about in polite conversation, like, am I worthy of love? So, Amy, I hear that you have a favorite part of this book that you marked.
Yes, if you look, I marked a bunch. I have a lot of favorite parts, but I did like this part in particular.
So this is an interaction between Emily and her boyfriend, Aaron.
New boyfriend.
Her new boy.
Yeah.
How lucky he was to be able to say that, to trust that nothing bad could ever happen, to never know the weight of a body in his arms, the way the flesh slid over the tendons and bones. I played with the sticky maple syrup container. Kristen and I are fine, I said. She's just... Kristen, hey! He cut me off as she reached the table. Hey there, did they bring the bill? She sat and lifted her Bloody Mary, a pint glass filled with viscous red liquid. She sipped until the straw gurgled and then plunked it on the table, and my stomach turned. I couldn't help thinking it looked like Paolo's blood pooled on the hotel floor.
Her boyfriend is clearly picking up on some tension between the two of them, but doesn't want to confess about what's going on to her new boyfriend, so she kind of denies it and says, we're fine. And you can tell she's trying to force herself to be fine. She's not fine.
Part of growing up is that you recognize that some friendships that were really serving you in a certain way at a certain point aren't right anymore.
Totally.
Amy, I would love to hear what makes a book really stand out to you or makes it a 5-star read for you.
I love characters, and I love well thought out and developed characters that you believe are real, and that you try to get into their head and understand sort of the complicated decisions and the complicated things that they do and say.
I think, in Kristen's case, where she, in her own mind, thinks she's being a really good friend and sort of is hurting Emily in the process, and then vice versa, when Emily is trying to do the right thing and she ends up hurting Kristen. I think that's because I have sort of this deep fear of you know, am I hurting other people with who I really am? And
yeah.
watching those motivations and agency and need to express yourself kind of interact and bump up against each other.
Okay, I can't believe you're here sitting in front of me. Do you mind signing a copy of my We Were Never Here?
Oh my gosh, I would absolutely love to.
Feeling very shocked, felt very surreal. I'm the kind of person that, treats authors like celebrities, so it felt like I was meeting a celebrity. Really exciting. Thank you so much, Reese's Book Club. This was so much fun.